we've all got problems there, don't we, etc. And what better place to be than this podcast? Got a problem, mate. Welcome back, everyone. And it is welcome back because they have heard it before. So don't go doing any of that again.
Is that your serious intro to
That's
this
the
episode?
intro. That's pretty good.
Watch this. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Got a Problem, Mate, the podcast with me, Joey Page, and him, Bilal Zafar. See? That's all you had to fucking say, man.
Nah, that's no good.
It is. You have to say who you are and what.
That's not
what
cool.
It's not cool.
That's very corporate intro.
You want to do your I'm not really into this.
That's the way to do it. Have you not seen T4?
Have I not seen T4? What is Nikita Oliver up to these days?
They should bring that back.
Maybe me and you could host T4 on the beach. What about... Oh, wait. Coming this summer, Got a Problem, Mate, the podcast on the beach.
T4 on the... Oh.
On the beach.
On the beach.
We're going to do a live episode from the beach.
Southend?
Wherever it's sandy.
Dirty. Used to go there a lot when I was little.
Cool. Anyway, welcome along if you're joining us for the
It's a very dirty
first...
beach. They're not joining us for the first time.
Some people are.
They're not.
Listen, if nobody new listens each time, we are fucked.
That's a good point.
So there must be some new people out there.
We do need new ones. We
We
can't
need-
have the same five guys.
It's actually 2,505 guys,
It's not.
isn't it?
No.
Ryan said he's going to talk to me about numbers later.
That sounds like you're in trouble.
No.
That sounds like it's bad.
I said, don't tell me if it's demoralising. He said it's not, so I'm excited for that meeting.
Oh, cool.
Yeah?
So there's some people.
Ryan's our boss.
What have you been
Is
up to?
What have I been up
He's
to?
not a boss.
He's our pod
What
boss.
do you think we're doing?
I treat this like a serious job. Well, I have been at your wedding.
Check it
But I was
out.
married now.
Check it out. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
We'll get into that in a minute.
Exhausting. Day.
So what is it like being married?
It's all right. It's pretty cool.
Is it the same, like everyone says?
That's a bit better.
Yeah?
Yeah, got a ring now.
Mm.
Recycled platinum.
Why did it need to be recycled?
Because her
What?
ring is lab grown. Seriously, it's an ethical ring. Woke ring, you'd call it.
What is
He
it?
calls everything woke.
No, what is it? What is it like? They've grown the diamond
grow
on the
it.
back of a mouse.
Yeah. And then they shoot the mouse. No, they they do it in a thing. It's lab grown.
Okay,
Isn't that cool?
it is cool. If you're joining us for the first time, basically what happens is we solve your problems.
Oh, yeah.
Me and Bilal also bring in a problem each that we need solving, and also our fabulous guest brings in a problem
Yeah.
for us to solve.
Do you want to mention what our problems are
Yes,
for
we
the
should,
week?
like we do every week.
Okay, what's yours?
Mine is, right, I've got my specific problem this week is you. Okay?
I don't think that's allowed. Ryan
no,
said that's against the rules.
Huh? Right?
Ryan said you can't do
Our
that.
boss Ryan said it's against the rules. I got invited to your wedding under false pretenses, and I'd like you to explain yourself, right? I turned up to your wedding,
Yeah, to serve the food.
and I had 3 or 4 people working at that wedding that came up to me and said, "Oh, hi, Joey, you're Bilal's best man." Now, the first I heard of that was when I arrived. And then when I asked you if I was best man, you said, well, not really, sort of, I don't know, I'm not really having one. And then proceeded to have to do all the duties of a best man, which, as I didn't have any of the information, I looked like an idiot. Because people are going, you're the best man, what's going on now? I'm like, I don't know. These 2 idiots don't even know. It's their own wedding. They don't know what... You didn't even know you're supposed to sit together for the meal.
There was a whole thing about that, which we can't... Well...
It was foisted upon me.
Don't
to
act
be your
like you
best
had
man.
anything to do. You had to hold the ring box.
I had to make
right?
announcements.
Yeah, to like 50 people. I just said... And it was fun, wasn't it? There was a bit where you had to ask them to stop talking. And then I said, you can tell them to talk now. And you said, all right, everyone, you can talk again. Big laugh. You got a big laugh. And I set you up for that. It's more than you get at your gigs.
That is not true. So, yeah, my problem is having undue responsibility placed on me. And then, whilst simultaneously having the title ripped away from me, when people are saying, you're the best man, you just kind of going, no, he's not.
Yeah. I had to tell all of my wife's family he's not the best man. I'm sorry about
So,
this.
that's my problem.
You're the witness. You were the witness. He had to look at me sign a thing.
dodgy signature. Now, what's your problem?
My problem is that I've been doing a bunch of shows, and my issue is like, how do you? Okay, so like I did a show a solo show, right? Where they told me, oh, you can go and hide here. You know, you have a little place where you go, you're backstage, whatever, right?
Yeah, like
and they said
what you would only see if you sign up to our Patreon, which we definitely don't have, is that before the podcast, Bilal likes to hide in a little hole off camera.
Do you go and
15
stand
minutes.
with the audience before you go on?
Well, in my last full-length show, I actually started by being sat in the audience.
I came.
Yeah.
And you wore glasses.
Yeah.
He was disguised.
And I asked people if they thought the show was going to be any good. And they didn't know it was me.
Is that a good plan?
Yeah. It's hilarious.
I liked it, to be fair. I was being... they said they'd put a screen up so the audience couldn't see me as I was getting, ready and stuff.
How were you getting
ready? And then
ready?
they didn't... I just look at your notes and stuff. You're doing an hour in it.
Are you doing, like, breath work?
No.
No, you're
just
not
making
doing
sure I remember
stretching?
my stuff. Nah, none of that stuff.
Doing red lorry, yellow lorry?
Red lorry, yellow lorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should do it.
You doing Peter Piper?
They didn't put a screen up, right?
Yeah.
So every audience member went to the bar to get a drink and could just see me and kind of smiled at
But
me.
what were you doing?
Smiling back because I had
what
to.
were you
I
doing?
couldn't look at
Sitting
my
or
notes.
standing?
Standing.
Where?
Near a table.
Right.
Now, my problem
Why
is...
can't you just be cool and sit at the table and face the other way?
The layout wasn't... It was bad, okay?
Okay.
It was bad. How do you... My problem is, how do you sort of... You don't want to be a diva.
It's called a rider.
Yeah, I have a rider. They didn't have any of my
It's
stuff.
called a Sean Rider.
But how do you... If they don't do your Sean Rider...
Yeah.
How do you approach it without being a rude diva guy? Is my thing.
Well, you should say, is there anywhere that I can sit?
I did, and that was
they
the place,
said-
and then it was
you'd
bad.
be like, but then you'd be like, the problem with sitting here is that the whole audience can see me.
Yeah, but it was already... The doors were open at this point. I can't even find the person running the gig.
Well,
I'm
that's
gonna
your
go
first
through the
problem.
audience. That's my... What's your problem? We'll ask the guest about you.
We've done my problem.
Oh, my wedding.
Me being your best man, but not.
You being a best man is your problem.
No, being forced into it, and then at the same time being told that I'm not one.
Let's get our guest on. We've wasted enough of his time.
I'm mine.
You've got time.
Okay. Let's bring him in then.
You can introduce him.
Okay, well, should we get him in the chair?
Oh, yeah.
He's got
to come sit here first.
Come in, time?
Yeah.
It's come in time.
Do an announcement as he sits down.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Like it's
Are we both going to do an introduction like usual?
Sure, you go first.
Okay.
So how are you going to edit this? Just a cut and then I'm sitting there?
Yeah.
We
I
don't
just
need to
appear?
edit it. It's good.
Okay,
That's
fantastic.
that's all in.
Great. Well, gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here.
We haven't
Don't
even said
speak
who
yet.
it is.
Thank you so much for having me.
Sit down. We're both going to do an introduction for you, and you can decide which one you like the most.
I am looking forward to that. I've got to say, and Bilal, no offense, Joey's introduction was a little bit better at the beginning.
No, that wasn't. We weren't asking about that.
It was. I just wanted to provide some feedback.
We didn't. The feedback after the show, you write it down in Joey's
send it.
notebook.
You send
and
it.
You send it.
This isn't actually a notebook. This is a guest book that people sign to say what a great time they've had on the podcast.
Yeah,
Oh, great!
You signed the
That sounds
guest
like
book.
That sounds like a classic duty of a best man at a wedding.
Yeah,
Organising
thank
the guest book. So maybe you wanted that role after all, Joey Page.
That would have just been nice to be able to prepare for it, you know. But we'll get to that. First of all, let's get to this. Our guest today is a very good friend of mine, but somebody who initially I couldn't really stand, but we've grown to become friends.
Oh,
No, you're not allowed to speak in this bit.
Sorry.
He's very badly behaved.
He's a very badly mannered, but he had my favourite Edinburgh show of the whole Edinburgh Fringe last year, mainly because I only saw maybe
You were
3 or
in
4
for
shows.
about an hour, and you came in
I
for
saw
half a
the-
day.
No, you're not allowed to speak. We're doing my intro.
I'm sorry.
It was
This
a very,
guy-
It was a very good show. It was an exceptional show. Continue, sorry.
This man needs no introduction because
Well, then why are you doing an introduction?
I'm not being able to get through my usual amount of introduction time. Welcome to the show. A amazing character, comedian, a really nice man. He's pretty good housemate as well. I live with him in one Edinburgh. He's a good old fun time gal. It's my friend Josh Glanc.
Woo! Thank you so much.
Okay,
That was beautiful.
I don't
I'll
think that
do
was
an
my best
intro.
one.
It was pretty good.
And don't get too excited, Bilal.
Where would comedy be without some of these guys? Ladies and gentlemen, we have a legal eagle who became a comedian. That's what a thing said that I read. Legal eagle becomes comedian. We've never had a legal eagle.
You've been reading my reviews.
Yeah.
We've never had a bird of prey on the show.
And this guy in a podcast I heard said it's not really comedy he does.
Is that what I said?
So then why is he wasting audience's time? That's what we're going to get down into.
I have no idea about this. I mean, I'd love to listen to it now. I've completely forgot about this podcast.
We'll get to it.
And I need to listen to it now.
I thought it was pronounced Josh Glanc. And I've been saying, have you seen Josh Glanc? I've been saying to people and no one's corrected me. So that's needs to
I don't think anyone truly knows.
No one knows.
No, I don't know myself.
Please welcome Josh Glanc.
Whoa, thank you. Great to be here. You know what? They were both really, really lovely. And they both kind of...
I think they were both piss poor.
No, they were fine. I mean, I do think everyone listening is switched off, but I think...
I'll be honest, this is going badly today. This is the worst
Is
one.
it? Is it really?
No.
This is... I thought... I was listening to the banter before I got here was beautiful. You boys are fantastic.
That was scripted.
You don't need... Oh, okay.
Yeah, we wrote that yesterday.
You've got great writers on the show.
Yeah.
We put a lot of pregnant pauses into the script.
Fantastic.
We rehearsed
Great
this
device.
for 2 hours.
Can we go back from the top of page 2, actually?
Do you want me to come back in?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
So how are you doing?
I'm great. I'm very eager to be solving some problems. Oi, do I have problems?
Well, Bilal,
Yeah.
just a little production note without Josh really being involved. I text Josh saying, don't forget to bring a problem in this morning. And he texts me some of the most worrying things that I don't even think we can say on air that are clearly either made up or he's a very troubled man and they're not fit for the podcast. So I am quite worried about this episode, to be honest.
Legal.
I mean, that term's problematic.
Is it?
No, it's well, I don't
Is
know
that
what it
a
means.
term, though? Because I'd never heard it.
I think it's a term.
You used to be able to use it in the 50s when they actually used birds for in the judiciary system, but because that's cruel, they're not allowed to do that anymore. So that term is actually not allowed.
Birds used to be used in the judiciary system. What were the
You
birds?
should know about this.
What did they do? What did they do? There was a
Falcon Clark.
There was a gap in the administration of justice that they filled with a bird of prey.
You know the guy from Foghorn Leghorn?
I don't know what that reference is.
It's
Is that
an
a
old
UK
cartoon.
reference?
No, it's like an American. It's like a
Looney
Hanna-Barbera
Tunes.
cartoon.
Foghorn.
Leghorn.
chicken.
He was really loud. Yeah, big
Rooster,
chicken.
whatever.
He would be the one that calls everyone into court.
That seems like the sort of thing you'd be a big fan of.
I've never watched TV in my life.
Oh.
That tells me everything I need to know about.
So how long were you a legal eagle?
I was a legal eagle. I only became a legal eagle in the later years of my legal career. No, I was a lawyer for 5 years.
Bloody hell.
I know, mate. I know. It was a good time, though.
Defend any bad guys?
Not really. I don't know. I wasn't doing like the...
I've got a genuine question that I've never
Yeah.
asked you that I think is good to bring up here.
Yeah, tell me.
When you quit a job like that obviously brings home the money, yeah. Is there a real extra pressure for your comedy career to go well?
So you've
knowing
run
that
out of...
chucked all that money away.
You've run out of that money, and now what do you do?
I'd be lying if I say I don't have a complex about that career choice, and it's not something I think about every day.
Well, we're forcing you to think about it today.
Yeah. Extra pressure. Well, if you compare yourself to other people, I mean, we're all in our.
Now hold on.
Hold on.
I understand you comparing yourself to Jimmy Carr, being like, oh, but what lawyers are you comparing yourself to? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about.
Kishore.
I'm talking about my. Yeah, I'm talking.
Our friend Kishore.
Our friend
Who's a
Kishore,
lawyer.
who's a lawyer. I'm talking about my colleagues back in the day who are now kind of a lot more financially secure than I
Why
am.
delete them off Facebook? Why are you looking at these things?
Because
Some of them are quite
because
fit,
I like to suffer. I like to make
You
myself
did a
feel
gig
bad.
on Australian TV.
Yeah.
They're not doing that.
They're not doing that.
No, but they have,
Unless they're on the news.
No.
Unless they get a Judge Judy type show, then fair
then
enough.
then that's pretty
you
cool.
could be upset.
I could have done that. See if I'd stayed in the.
You still could. Have you ever used any of your lawyering stuff in comedy? Have you ever tried to
No,
make a thing?
no. I mean, my stuff is so. I think that's why people that see my comedy are a bit surprised that I'm a lawyer, just because I don't do my stuff. Isn't like political. Like it's not.
It's very much like how people
It's-
are really confused that Harry Hill used to be an actual doctor.
Yeah, it would be that type of thing.
With
'Cause
his
it's
giant
so
collars,
silly.
that would be.
But it's because
worrying.
Josh's stuff is so silly.
It is.
You could be a
it
silly
is-
lawyer, no?
No, the law world is so serious. It's so.
Yeah,
serious.
you can't even be working class in the law world.
It's very, very serious.
How much did your school cost? 30,000 a term?
I don't know. I don't know I don't know what the exchange rate is.
Now, just to look behind the curtain here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Me and Bilal hang out outside of the show sometimes, and he's got this real thing at the moment about people going to school where it's 30 grand a term. So I think he's going to ask everybody
Well,
that we interview on the podcast for the next foreseeable future.
I did go to I went to a private school, but I went to because I'm Jewish and my parents wanted me to go to a Jewish school. So that's probably the reason.
Other than the
That
religious
and-
studies
and-
side
and-
of it, what's the difference between a normal school and a Jewish school?
I like
You wouldn't
the
know.
religious study side of it.
And that's it.
I suppose, yeah.
Is that something you still...
Well, it's interesting.
Have?
What do you mean have?
What do you
What
mean?
do you
Still-
mean have?
A lot of people go to... because a lot of people that go to religious stuff early then are no longer
shun it.
religious when they're older.
Well, it is Passover at the moment. Last night was the first night of Passover. Not to timestamp this episode, but that's what it was. So, and I did a Passover Seder last night, and it was lovely. So
Cool.
I'm still.
The reason I ask is because so many comedians are atheist.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say. I don't know. I don't know what I am. Bilal. I don't know. I'm just a man sitting with some two boys, talking about things in a very
Nobody's asked me about my...
weird way.
You're Roman Catholic.
What are you?
Well, you'll notice this as the podcast starts to do really well over the next couple of weeks. But I'm actually a Scientologist now.
Oh.
Really?
No.
You've referenced the podcast doing well numerous times. Is this the intention of this podcast?
No.
So you
Do
just
well.
want commercial success. You don't want it was not about solving problems and a couple of best friends hanging out,
Best is
good boys
Yeah.
having fun.
good
This
friends.
is,
I wouldn't say best.
This is to make money. This is all... We've had to run this by a legal team, everything.
We've had to run this by...
Are they legal?
I actually...
Legal
no, I couldn't
eagle
afford a
team.
legal eagle. I ran it by a legal beagle.
Bloody hell. You describe yourself as a clown.
This is his style of interviewing, Josh.
You've got to, yeah. This is yeah.
He said in the previous episode to our food critic guest,
Yeah.
what about Beask?
What about Beask?
Bisque?
Oh, Bisque.
Yeah,
Yes.
don't start that again.
Bisque.
Bisque?
Who the fuck pronounces it Bisque?
Bilal does. Anyway,
They say bisque on MasterChef. Do you ever watch MasterChef Australia?
Apparently, MasterChef Australia is great.
It's really good.
A lot of people in the UK ask me that question.
Do you know why?
Have I watched MasterChef
You know why it's good
Australia?
though? You got better ingredients there. Giant fish.
Our produce is very
Mate,
good.
all we
yeah.
have on UK MasterChef beans. That's it. Every week beans.
every week
It's
beans.
really
I do
sad.
really well on that.
Yeah, you smash it.
MasterChef beans edition.
MasterChef beans.
Anyway, you describe yourself as a clown. I'll let Bilal finish his
Sorry,
question.
That was kind of the end of the question.
Yeah, I don't think I do, but anyway.
You did in a
Did I?
podcast. I listened to a podcast that Josh did 3
How long
years
ago? This is 3 years ago. A lot's changed.
He doesn't remember.
I have no. I do.
You've plugged this other podcast more than you've plugged
I've
their
not
own
said
fucking
what it is.
podcast.
I have no recollection of this podcast.
Okay.
But you seem to have.
I
quite
really
a-
enjoyed it.
It was good.
Yeah. So you don't describe yourself as a clown.
Oh, I don't know. I don't want to describe myself as anything. I just want to have fun. I don't want to describe
What
myself.
is this?
What's a
No,
clown?
you need to define exactly what you are, okay? You have to say you're Jewish. You have to say you're a clown. All right? You can't say, I'm just this. This podcast is about...
What's a clown? I mean, what's
Clearly
a clown? I don't
defining
know.
ourselves.
I can, I'd like to go on stage and see what happens. And if you call that being a clown, then paint my face white and put a red nose on me.
Josh.
It's really nice making a joke to no response. I just want to say it's a really lovely aspect of this podcast. It's really
This is a serious podcast.
It's really
This is a serious
great,
podcast.
a
Josh,
great technique. Yes.
I would like to get you involved in our problems before we get to your problems and indeed the listener's problem here today. Basically, it's my job to keep the show on track.
Yeah.
So I know that you were listening just before, but I was wondering if you could help us out with our problems. Like, I'd love to get your genuine opinion on whether it is okay to tell somebody that they're the best man of a wedding when they get there and then deny that they've given them that role. It's like saying, you're the manager now, but we're not going to give you the official title so we don't have to pay you more.
It's really, it's quite funny. It's pretty funny and it's quite curious. So what exactly were your roles?
I got told to come half an hour early to be a witness of them signing there, and that was it. Right?
So that's all you had to do?
No, but then when I got there, then I'm being given the rings by the photographer because I'm the best man. I'm being told to cajole and organise people and keep the day flowing.
Oh, so people are saying to you, hey, Joe, you're the best man, you know?
Where do we go now?
People are having entrees. We need to get to the mains.
And I have to shout out where people have to go.
Joe, what are you going to do? Call the police?
No, I'm not asking you. I'm asking...
Call the police.
Yeah,
How would you feel if you was put in that position?
Yeah.
Go to the vet.
Go to the vet.
I would think...
Imagine if you turned up at my wedding. And
I think it's
Josh, your
really
best
funny.
man.
It's so funny. It's really funny.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Did you intentionally... or were you just like didn't want to commit to having a best man?
I didn't want to have a
you didn't want to have
I
a
didn't
best
want
man.
Joey Page to do a speech at my wedding. Can you imagine
Oh,
that?
yeah.
You didn't even do a speech at your own wedding.
I didn't want to do a speech.
I
at my
understand.
wedding.
So it was more like you didn't want to deal with the fact that these duties needed to be fit by someone, and then on the day it just happened.
You said I'll give it to the old General
just give it
Dog's
to
body
Joe.
over there.
Dog's body. What's that?
You know, something you just make run around for you.
I mean,
I'm not familiar.
it's a bit unfortunate for Joey because like some of the benefits of being like, you know, it's really nice to be approached and say like, hey man, our friendship means a lot and I'd love you to be the best man.
Yeah.
There might be a few things that you need to do. You know, so he
you.
kind of got the shit part of the job without feeling kind of looked after and cherished by
He
you.
was looked after. He was fed very well.
I got to go up the buffet like everyone else.
He got to go to the buffet.
I love a buffet. What was... No, let's not
It's
go
very
there.
good.
No, it was good
It's
food. It was great food. Yeah.
It's really good food.
I'm not complaining. Have you heard me complain about the food?
No.
Have me complain about the mango lassies? No.
So
Done that in private. But no. No, the food
you
was
agree with
fantastic.
me? It's fine, right?
No,
And
I think I'm more with Joey. I think it would have been nice. You should have had the foresight to know that he would be placed in that position,
Mate,
and just a bit of a
People ask me where to put my coat. Not my coat, their
Yeah.
coat.
people ask me where to put.
I
my
just
coat.
imagine you walking around with a coat on your head, and people say, "Mate, where is your coat?"
No,
though?"
basically, I
Can
I was
someone
going-
tell Joey where to put his coat?
I was
We
going-
we can't see him.
I was going through a few people's pockets, and someone caught me and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just arranging the coats as best man," and then everyone started giving me their coats.
Let me see. I wrote some questions down. Legal Eagle was one of them.
That was a question.
My questions.
We've got two questions: legal, and
Legal
you
Eagle
describe
becomes
yourself
a
as
comedy
clown.
And
star.
have you
That's
seen
what it says.
Australian MasterChef?
Yeah.
That's number 3.
I said, I was going to ask if you did a clown course, but it seems like you're angry at the term clown. Oh no, I do have a good your stuff, right? So I've seen a bunch of it on youtube.co.uk.
No, .co.au.
So look, I do. I'm a traditional.
.com.au. Anyway, yes.
I'm like a proper stand-up, right? Proper. Not like these two.
No, you do
So, like-
slideshows and shit.
Not anymore. I did them for a bit, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're like a legitimate comedian,
I'm a
man.
legitimate-
I mean, listening to this podcast, I get it.
You get it.
I've
My point is,
been doing this podcast for weeks, and I don't get it.
Look, right. If I try a bit and it's not working a bit, and
Yeah.
then I'm like, never mind, haha, it didn't work, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Your bits, some of them are so weird.
They're not that weird.
No, they are, and it's not an insult.
Okay,
right?
yes, yes,
I like
yes,
it. Okay,
yes,
I'm
yes.
pretending I don't like you, but you're all right.
Yes.
When you're doing the sort of
So I just got
therapy,
very reactive.
It's all right.
I got
The therapy with the cats, for example.
Oh yeah.
That's very good, right?
Yeah.
Now a bit like that, it's quite long.
Hang on, Bilal, you got to realise there's an audience. You can't just say the bit with the cats. You have to explain to the audience
I'll
what
get
that is.
to-
Let them imagine.
Well, I don't want to
Let them
explain
imagine. Every
the
listener,
routine.
every viewer is now thinking something very different.
You have some long, very funny, good bits, that everyone should look on YouTube for.
Thank
What do you do when it's not working? When you're trying a brand new bit, what's that like? Do you know what I mean? Because I can't imagine.
This is such a weird line of questioning, but okay, so I'd say that bit's quite old, so I've probably gotten better. Like, I say that I've probably got routines that are really good for clubs. So I've got like a club set, so I could walk into a club of people expecting comedy, and I just know how to kind of dish out
He knows how to dish out the
lulls. But if I'm doing something more experimental or like I'm doing something longer form, then I probably will do that in a more comedy savvy audience who are more kind of on board with that type of thing. So I don't know, but I've never bombed, mate, so I wouldn't really know.
Right.
He's never died.
I've never died, so I mean, one day just to feel it, but yeah,
it's very good. You know what really annoyed me, right? I was watching some of your stuff in bed last night, and I winked at you, but the camera didn't. I was watching it, and
it's sexy.
It's sexy. The cat bit, right? Sorry, I know it's very old. You don't like to talk about it, but I thought, oh, that's quite good, and because we like cats, me and my wife. He hates cats.
No, I don't hate cats. I hate people that love cats so much.
I said I'll show this to her, right? And and she was like, oh, I've seen it. It's great. I love it. And I was like, why have you seen it?
She's seen it.
She's not in comedy.
Wow.
Why has she seen it?
Your reach is...
I was fuming about that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, she must be one of the 300 viewers on that YouTube link.
Nah, come on.
That's great.
Done
That's
it on
lovely.
TV.
That's
so hang on,
lovely.
what was the question there, Bilal? Because it sounds like you just said...
I thought it was a good question.
The question is, how long have you been seeing my wife?
Yeah.
Well, no, my question was, like, if I do a bit of just stand up and it's not working very well, it's quite easy to back out of it quick. But when you have a longer,
that's a good point.
I thought it was a good question.
Okay, that's a good point. Okay, so
before we answer that, so what did watching a video that your wife had already seen about cats have to do with that?
Well,
question?
that was like an extra thing because he was offended by my
no. That's a really
question.
That's a really good point. I think I've gotten better at choosing what bits to do where. So that's the first thing. But that is a problem because sometimes with my tech, playing sound cues and things, the sequence of bits is kind of set. Although I've been working recently on how to have more control of that. But that is a bit of a problem. You're right. If I'm doing like a 2-minute, 3-minute bit with sound cues and it's not working.
That's what I was,
There is an aspect of like, well, this is the bit and I'm in the bit now.
Yeah.
And as a stand-up, it is a little bit easier to kind of pivot. Sometimes you get yourself into that situation, but I suppose I don't get myself into that situation much anymore because if it isn't working, then I will just stop the bit and call out what's happening in the room. Like, you can always, I mean, that's the best thing about what we do. You can always throw away the show, the bit. You can do whatever you want. So
but you've got a long song playing.
You stop it.
Or you just say stop.
Yeah. I'll say stop it and I'll say you haven't fucking laughed. Whatever to I mean I think that
you wouldn't do that because you've never died, but
I wouldn't do that.
You've not had a bad gig yet.
I've never had a bad gig. But hypothetically, if I ever did have a bad gig, I mean, that is, I think, one of the most exciting things about live comedy. That's the most exciting thing about what we do is that really, you do what's needed in the room and what happens in the room. So when you get yourself into that situation where you're like, I'm in this bit now, and sometimes you're conflicted because you're like, well, I kind of want to go along with the bit, or you don't know whether they like it or not like it. Am I boring you, Joey Page? What are you Googling?
You.
I'm making it very hard for the people controlling the levels of this podcast. I'm neutral and then I get very excited. But sometimes it's hard to judge when you're thinking, are they enjoying it? Are they, am I enjoying it? What's happening? You don't know whether to like call it out and stop it. But you can stop it if you get into that problem. But I think it's easier as a stand-up.
Because it's so different to what
I
do.
I think that's a great question. I'm sorry that I misinterpreted your question.
Yeah, you got really offended and angry at me.
I just wasn't prepped for your style of interviewing. It's
hard hitting.
It's hard hitting. It's not a good time chat. It is investigative journalism at its best.
You called yourself a clown 4 years ago.
Well, what was your problem? So long ago now. I forgot.
Oh yeah, my thing was I had a gig where I was basically my backstage area. I was doing a solo show. Backstage area, they said we're gonna put a screen up so you can be hidden. It wasn't really backstage; it was part of the room.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that, and the audience could all see me.
So you were just standing. I need
felt very
to
awkward.
see. I need to get the picture clear. So the audience is facing the stage, right? If we're the audience looking at the stage, where are you?
Okay, stage is there.
Yep.
Audience, the seats are here.
Yeah.
My dressing room bit is where you are, but the bar is near that. Do you understand? So before the show, they're all going to the bar and looking back and being like, "Oh, there's someone there. Oh, it's the guy we're seeing." And
How
then
much have they paid for these tickets?
I literally could not visualize what you said.
No, imagine only listening to this and not seeing any of the hand movements.
Oh yeah.
Sorry for
I could
for
not.
people at home. I'm so sorry. Your real jobs where you have real problems,
But
there was no curtain.
You're saying that the audience. You're saying that the audience, but like you were just standing to the side. Is that right?
Basically, they could all see me before the show, looking at my notes, and it didn't feel very good.
Yeah. Why didn't you move yourself?
There was nowhere to go.
There's nowhere to go. Not like the back of the room or anything.
That was like the back of the room. I was stuck. It was like a.
I just think don't play that venue anymore.
What do you What do you do? I mean,
my question is right.
Yeah, you're warning me about me bringing a good problem.
I know. I'm telling you, that's such a
right?
tepid problem.
If both of you listen to the problem, right?
If anybody, God forbid, anybody
My
listening to this
question
has got
is-
no interest in stand-up performance.
No. It's not to do with stand-up. My question is, if you feel like you don't want to be like a rude sort of diva person, but you feel like you're not getting what you should get, how do you deal with that?
Okay. I think, look, there's ways to be. You've got to think about it that your job is to do a good show, right? And you need to do what you need to do in order to have a good show. And that will vary from gig to gig. And it might be that on one particular night, you're not feeling that annoyed by that situation and you're okay with it. But if you're in a headspace where you are annoyed by it, you need to do what you need to do in order to have a good show. And of course you got to be nice. You can be nice. It doesn't mean being an asshole. Yeah. But I'm a believer in getting over that kind of shtick that we have, because our job is to do good shows, and it varies what we need in that moment. Sometimes I'm at a gig and I'm nervous and I'm stressed, and for whatever reason, my energy is not like, it's not chilled, and I got to do what I need to do in order to have a good show.
A lot of stuff was annoying me, right?
Yeah.
Like, for example, they put my Spotify playlist. They got that on the speakers in the venue, which was great. But the guy had connected it with his phone, and it was via Bluetooth, and he kept going downstairs, and the music kept cutting out.
Oh, that would shit me. That would absolutely shit me as well. And it's really hard. You need it I think generally speaking, in order for comedians to do a good show, we need to be happy. We need to be happy.
How do you get yourself
happy?
happy?
Do you know how I would have dealt with it?
I mean, so if things are happening before to piss you off, even if they're little things, that is that I think that's a legitimate concern. You shouldn't feel bad about being annoyed that way, because we're weird, particular, crazy, stupid people that have decided to be comics, and we get annoyed by little things like that.
Thank you.
But so what do? I try and do what I need. It's about learning what you need to do in order to be happy. And sometimes it's you got to learn how to shake things off, or I like to talk a lot of shit before a show to get me in a silly headspace.
With people or
sometimes with people, and sometimes they don't quite know how to take that. But that I'm fine with that. But sometimes I'm just getting kind of cobwebs out before doing a show. So, I'd like to, maybe I'm talking shit and it's bombing, but I like to kind of sometimes do that. Or sometimes I like to sit quietly.
That was a wonderful answer.
I waffle. I give extensive, long-winded answers that say the same thing numerous times. Legal, I am no longer. Continue, yes. Continue.
I would reference it all on stage, because then the audience, because they would have noticed that, would laugh at it.
Yes.
Like, that's what I always do. Like,
I did, but it just,
And that's cathartic.
That's funny, getting on stage and saying, I'm stressed, the guy with the Bluetooth is going down. You can all see me. that's great, of course. And that, again, that is the beauty of what we do, our ability to bring what's happening for all of this collective.
Just got to be fucking real, man. Yeah?
You just got to be real, man.
So,
You just got to be real. Yeah, right, man. Yeah, tell me. Yeah.
if you would like to get involved in the show, then you can send your problems or indeed feedback to gotaproblemmate@gmail.com. Hashtag GAP, M. Question mark. No, but hashtags. Can't put a comma.
You can't put a comma in a hashtag. You know all about hashtags, Mr. Twitter sensation.
It's Instagram, actually. So
It's definitely Twitter.
1,000 views on Instagram. Don't worry about it. Okay. Anyway, Josh, what was your problem that you've brought in for me and Bilal to solve before we get to a listener's problem?
I have so many problems, and then I thought about one. Oh no, I do remember now. I have so many problems.
You remember when you asked me what's a good problem or a bad problem to bring on?
I know.
One like what Bilal just did was a perfect example of a bad problem.
Yeah, I've got. Well, first of all, I didn't go to the toilet before this podcast, and I should have. And I
not a good
really need
to skip on for that.
Okay. As you know, my father passed away, and I miss him dearly. and I miss him, and I've asked my mum to dress up in his clothing, and she's refusing. So I would like some advice. Okay, fine. I won't make up problems. Okay, this is a legitimate problem.
When a bit doesn't work, he just can stop it straight away and move on.
I can just move on. This is my legitimate problem, and I would like to quit watching porn. Is it okay? Is this okay so far?
It's okay with me, but Bilal doesn't like to talk about
fine,
rude,
it's fine.
nudie.
I mean, he's very crass, and I try and stop him being crass.
So you have a problem? Okay,
no, it's okay. I mean, have you heard of NoFap?
What's NoFap?
You don't know NoFap, and you're serious about this? NoFap. NoFap is the movement.
It's a movement?
Yeah. It's massive. NoFap means stop touching yourself. Stop watching that.
So I think
seriously,
touching yourself is fine.
You have to touch yourself in the shower to be clean.
I just think that, like, potentially we all. Well, no, okay. I would. Yeah, I struggle because I'm a really horny dude. Okay, again, some laughter there, boys, would have been really helpful.
But I thought I know you, so I just took that at face value. I was like, correct.
I mean, look how much.
Look how much what?
Nothing.
Testosterone.
Yes.
He's a hairy
it's
man.
a thing where apparently if you don't do that,
yeah,
and you save all of that stuff up, it makes you like stronger, and some people think it makes you taller and stuff. I'm not kidding. Look it up.
It makes you taller.
I swear to God, there's so many weird. It's a really weird thing.
I'll expand my problem because I think we're getting bogged down. I'll expand my problem. How do you quit something that you're addicted to?
I've got some genuine advice on that. But before that,
on how to quit porn.
Well, on how to quit an addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I'll give you a serious answer in a second. My tuppence for your problem, but before that,
we'll just get to
guys that are saying.
We'll be right back just after these messages. Sorry.
No, we are actually going to have some messages. So that's
great,
good.
so we can use that.
Yeah. So, like guys that are short, like you're quite short, Bilal, on dating apps, say things like, we're all the same height when we're lying down, because obviously they have a tough time meeting girls.
I think
the answer to them is stop
lying.
Stop masturbating and you'll get taller. Is that what you're saying?
Now, hold on. That example you used was very specific. Like, that's something you do.
No, because I'm obviously a tall guy.
We're all the same size lying down.
I'm 5'11".
I don't think guys say that on their.
I don't think you're 5'11".
They do. As somebody that's dating someone who's 6 foot tall, right? They've seen a lot of short guys as profiles because obviously our height is a problem.
So you said that to her. That's what you're saying.
No, not at all.
We're the same height lying down.
No, not at all. But that is this kind of thing that people say. And what you're saying is to any short guys that can't get a date.
I don't think that's true.
Stop stroking off.
Wow, what an incredible movement! I don't know about the science of that, Bilal. And
You've got to look out. It's fascinating.
And I'm not like I just think that I would. I just think that it would be healthier to have to I don't know. I just. Well, let me tell you. This is recent. I'm just recently thinking about this.
Here's what I would say about this genuinely.
Yeah.
Right? Number one, it's almost impossible to go cold turkey on trying to stop doing anything. So you should first of all limit yourself at certain times, and or a certain amount of times per week or whatever, but in certain times of the day. So it's restricted, but it's not nothing.
Only 4 times a day.
Then you start withdrawing some of those opportunities. And also, if you do break it, don't give yourself a hard time. My ex, Jay, who you know very well, they had real problem giving up smoking. And then maybe they would have a cigarette after not having had one for 3 weeks. But it's like, well, don't beat yourself up because you've broken some streaks. The streak doesn't matter. You still had 3 weeks where you didn't smoke. And now if you got another 3 weeks, then you only had 1 cigarette in 6 weeks, which is better than, oh, I'm starting again.
If I go 3 weeks without watching porn, I'm declaring that as a victory.
Okay. But I don't think you should start. I don't think you should aim for that. I think you should aim to cut it in half. Not your.
I've got it going on my phone right now.
Shall I show? I could hear it. Shall I show you something I do, which is
what?
very,
Do I get
very
nothing
useful.
for that advice? Then?
I know. Thank you.
That was
That was
good.
really, really good. Yeah.
It was fine. Thank you, Joey. Thank you, Joey. I'm sorry.
I was trying to be
Jeez,
serious.
you need a lot of, maybe I'm leaning with Bilal on the whole best man thing. You need a lot of prepping up.
I know, right? I know.
At the moment,
No wonder he
It's a
didn't
nightmare.
tell you.
I've
Would have gone straight to your head.
I've got this app, right?
Yeah.
Which I'll show the camera as well. But like, it's a little calendar, and if you're
If just listening, by the way, you can watch this on YouTube.
Oh yeah, if I go to the gym, I tick that off. No junk food. That was me. And you change the emojis. You see that?
And what do you do? Do you buy yourself a little gift when you get 10
No, it's just like I
stickers?
try and do 30 days of like no junk food and going to the gym as much as I can. Skin and vitamins I've been doing.
Wow.
What, you've
Now,
been eating
what I'm
skin and
saying
vitamins?
is-
Well, I've got. Can I just show you mine?
if you-
I've got this as my homepage.
No.
Every time
We're
I
not.
open my phone, it
we
just
can't have that.
it just
That can't
goes-
go on YouTube.
it just goes. I can't help it. It's
I don't
just-
know if they're going
it's-
to have to pixelate it.
It's my homepage. I can't. If I've got it saved as my wallpaper. You saying that makes it a bit difficult to quit? Okay, I see the point you're making.
You could, you can tick off a day that you don't do it, but in your case, I don't think we can help you. I think you're beyond help.
Okay, should we move on to a listener's problem, Bilal?
Yeah.
I think you've got that today. And then if we've got
All right,
time,
well,
we'll
thank
squeeze
you.
in a bit of Colin Nolan Knows Best, or maybe the Sunday
Whatever in
Sport
it,
feature.
We'll
I
find.
got-
Do you have anything to promote while I look for the thing? What do you want to promote?
What am I promoting? Well, if you're listening in Sydney,
They're not.
They might be.
I have to go back to Australia to do some shows in May and June.
You're not taking that mobile phone with you, are you?
I'm doing a show at the Bondi Festival at the beginning of July before I come back
Icebergs?
here. No, not icebergs. Icebergs is before I come back here, and then I'll be around, and then I'll be in the Fringe. I'll be doing.
Do you know what
doing a
time
show.
do you know what time the show is yet?
I'm doing a show at 3:35 at Monkey Barrel, but for like 9 days. It's kind of like a best of kind of. It'll be.
Are you only going for 9 days?
I'm there for the whole month because I'm doing Stamptown as well.
We clash, sadly. I'm 350.
350.
Yeah, we clash. I'll be in London doing.
You're not invited.
Yeah, you're not. You're not
Our listener's
invited.
problem
Yes.
is from a guy called Craig Russell Horn. He's Scottish. Hope that's okay.
He's given you his full name, and you.
Yeah, we're friends.
Okay.
It's all right. He's
So he hasn't written in.
he
You've
came, he
messaged
came
him.
to my wedding. He wore a
You-
kilt. No, yeah, he sent this question to us. His question is very long, but I've abbreviated it. I have 3 Hoovers, but none are in full working order. Do I repair one or buy a 4th? Then I will have 4 Hoovers.
I can relate to this. I think it's really hard to get a good Hoover.
You know, you're very unpredictable. That's the sort of thing I'd expect you to get really angry at that question, and you're fully on board with it.
Yeah, I was expecting you as well
It's
to get
really
angry.
hard to
I
get
want
a
to
good
hear the
working
long-winded question.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, fine.
I feel like that's more interesting than your edited. You know, like
No, it is. It's just long.
yeah. Let's do it. I want to
okay.
hear the long-winded question that goes for 4 minutes.
Okay. I mean, I'm annoyed that it was this long, to be honest. The subject's email is too many Hoovers. Hello, lads. Got a problem for you. I have managed over the years to accrue what some may call
Procure.
a collection of Hoovers.
Yeah, but he said accrue.
Accrue.
Okay.
Currently,
Stuff.
I have 3. However, of the 3, none are in full working order. Some background on each of these.
Yeah, we need the
Look
background.
how long it is.
This is
We need the
ridiculous how long it
background,
is.
though.
The first was a cheap G-Tech, which the better half has had since uni. It has lost significant suction power over the years after her old flatmate decided it was the only way to clean out the guinea pig hutch she courted around and has now been clogged with shite and sawdust.
Great.
The second is a top
Stick
of the
a coat
range.
hanger up it.
The second is a top-of-the-range G-Tech. This was acquired after the death of my late grandfather. As you know, when a family member sadly passes away, it's tradition in working-class families that their house is ransacked of potentially useful and high-value items. That's true.
That is true.
I also acquired a 50-inch LG TV following his sad departure. That's pretty good. 50-inch.
This is wild.
This Hoover has lost both of its wheels and of the two screw holes
God.
reattach.
Okay.
To reattach them. Both.
He should.
I want to get
That's
to
a
the
lot.
end of
There's
this.
more.
Is
You
this
wanted the full thing.
No, not anymore. He should divorce her. That's what I'm saying.
They're married.
To reattach them both are now stripped, so has the same grip as a slipper on a skating rink.
Okay.
The third is a Dyson, king of Hoovers. That's true.
It's true. The Dyson is. I recently had an experience with the Dyson, and
While you was watching on the videos on
it
your
was.
phone.
Yeah, it was. It was life changing. They're incredible. People have been going on about them for years, and I thought surely it can't be that good. Have you ever used a Dyson?
Yeah.
These things can suck up anything.
The third is a Dyson, king of Hoovers. This was also acquired following a family tragedy. There is no issues with the Hoover to the naked eye, but under the bonnet tells the true story.
This guy is an absolute pain in the ass.
This guy's really taking.
Are you friends with this guy?
Yeah. So's he.
Is he a pain in the? What's his
Nah,
name?
he's all right, Craig.
Great.
Okay.
I think you've done him a massive disservice to abbreviate it as quickly as you did.
Well, yeah, but this, it's really okay.
It's so long. Looking
There
at
is
this now,
something
it is
that's you can see why.
ridiculously long.
You can see why.
What's the problem with the third Hoover?
There is
He's
something-
focusing on the wrong problem.
There is something in the chain of suction, sure that's the industry term, that is missing. However, on closer inspection, it is difficult to discern how many, which, or where the missing part is. Regardless of where it is, Dyson parts ain't cheap. To get anything under the hood of a Dyson will probably cost me more than your average new Hoover. So where I am left is here. In a kind of purgatory between putting one of the three in for repair and taking the financial hit of whatever the cost may be,
Okay.
or buying another Hoover.
Yep.
We're nearly done. Buying another Hoover, which will at least work for under £50
Okay.
for the first time being, which takes my Hoover into inventory to 4.
Okay.
So the two questions are, why is he doing 2? Do I buy or repair? And if I repair, which one?
What's his name again?
Craig.
Craig.
Travis,
I was going to say.
Travis.
Listen here, John. If you, I'm a big believer in buying quality. And I think that what you should do is focus on the king. That's his term, not mine.
Dyson.
And go fix that Dyson. Get rid of the others, and just let the king do its thing.
Let the king do its thing. I like
Let
that.
the king do its thing.
And we'll be back right after these messages.
Have you
Let
ever
the
used
kings do their podcast.
Did you use a giant Dyson or one of the small ones like the slim ones that you can keep on the wall on a chart?
Yeah, the one that you keep on the wall.
They're good, aren't
Let me tell you,
it-
the problem with modern day Hoovers.
So focus. Get the Dyson fixed.
Sorry,
and
yeah.
start sucking up that dust.
Yeah. I
Thank
think
you.
Nailed it.
His
Thank you.
house is probably in a right state, using
I
3
would say
Hoovers
the
at
problem
once.
with modern Hoovers. I mean, I don't need to add anything. You answered brilliantly. There's no point.
Thank you.
Oh, is that okay?
But the problem with modern Hoovers is when the stuff goes up the hose, it then gets to a point that's narrower than any of the bit prior to it, and it all gets clogged. And so all you got to really do, more often than not, A, is clean out the filter, and B, put a coat hanger up around that bit that's narrower than any of the other bits, and normally that will solve all your problems.
Craig, if you got a coat hanger, then that's.
But it's very important that you haven't been hoovering up like bits of asbestos like I did when I first moved into my flat,
terrible.
and then I've cleaned that Hoover out. I'm probably going to die. Okay, so let's move on to.
Can I just try something? I wanted to make like a comment, like a comment about like a culturally British comment. Then I haven't been here for long enough, and I might get this wrong. Can you just give me some feedback? When you said that, I was like putting a coat hanger up at Dyson. I was like, that is the most South London thing I've ever heard you say. Does that apply?
Well,
Will that
it works because it sounds like a thing.
Okay,
You know
but
what I
it's
mean?
not.
I don't think so.
Okay, so
It worked on my
I've still got
Hoover.
to learn a lot more about
It's
your
fine.
society.
It's fine. Because
No
if I
problem.
said, like, that is such a Sydney thing to say, if I said that on stage in Australia, they'd love it.
Yeah, but
You know what I mean?
but if it actually was, it's not like if you just came out and said this is such a Sydney. Look at this place is so Sydney, and it wasn't. But like in Melbourne, if you can make a joke about Melbourne, if the weather, everyone likes joking about us being obsessed with coffee. So if you came out on stage, and said that, in fact, James Acaster said at his show in Melbourne, it was so good. He came out and was like, Melbourne's obsessed with their coffee and we pride ourselves on being absolute coffee snobs. And he starts his show by saying, the coffee here is absolutely shit. And just starts going on a rant about how bad the coffee is. And people in the audience just don't know how to take it. It was great. It was great. Anyway, we'll be back right after these messages.
He has a podcast, does he? He's got about 6.
Okay, so we've just got time now to squeeze in a Colleen Nolan Knows Best. So Colleen Nolan from the Nolan Sisters and also Loose Women.
You know her.
She's got her own Agony Aunt page on the Daily Mirror newspaper website. And we're going to read out a problem that's been sent into her, and you're just going to solve that.
This
and
is
we're gonna
great.
put you
You've
up
really
against Colleen Nolan.
expanded the scope of this podcast.
Oh, it's a good show.
You've
Yeah,
gone
yeah.
from your problems to a guest problems to someone calls it in, and now you're scouring the internet for
Or
problems.
as Nick-
What's next? The
or as Nick Helm
UN
put it-
resolutions you're going to sort
Yeah,
out?
next we're solving World War III. No, as Nick Helm put it, you just do the same thing 4 times over in the podcast.
Yes.
Cool.
He put it more eloquently than I did. Continue,
But you
Joey.
made it sound like a good thing. He made it sound like we're
Thank
not
you.
doing a good job.
It means a lot.
So,
I'm supportive.
you're right.
Us clowns are.
Should we go
Okay.
to clown school in Paris together?
I've been there. Been there, done that, man. Okay, let's go.
So, this problem is I'm a single man. I lost my job and I can't find a long-term partner. I didn't send this in. While all my friends have settled down. Colleen Nolan advises a single man who is at a crossroads in his life. Dear Colleen, I'm 42, fit and handsome, brackets, so I'm told. What a big head this guy is. But I've recently started to question everything in my life. I lost my very good job. I've been with the company for 10 years. It was a big blow and I didn't see it coming. I've been a committed bachelor for most of my adult life. Although I'm never short of girlfriends, everything that I focused on was my job. Partying after work, drinking with the team. Now there's nothing. I've realised every one of my friends has moved on with their lives and they're all married and have kids or at least exclusive relationships. My mates have this idea of me that I'm a good time guy, always up. Oh my God, it's literally like I've written this. Always upbeat, always ready for a good time. But in reality, I'm feeling pretty lost. I've also started seeing a girl who is 14 years younger than I am, and I'm worried that the age gap is a bit big for a serious relationship. I would love some advice as I'm at a crossroads.
Wow. I mean,
Try not to imagine that was me saying that.
Wow. I mean, I've been single for an incredibly long time, and I've really.
That's like me going out with a 24-year-old.
Yeah,
I'm up for
that's.
Oh.
Oh, Joey. That's wow. Yeah. Well, I also can't get past the fact that he said I'm handsome, so I'm told. Not because I just I'm handsome, so I'm. It's very
It's weird, isn't it?
It's a weird phrase. I'm handsome, so I'm told.
He put that in brackets.
So I'm told. It's like trying to be self-deprecating. It's very British to say that. I'm
Was
handsome,
it
so I'm
is it
told.
self-deprecating?
Well, it's like
just
trying
a
to
brag, isn't it?
It's no,
Humble
it's
brag.
well, that's it. It's it's like I don't know. Anyway, I was single for a very, very long time, and I think, and I've recently entered into a relationship, and it's the first relationship I've had for an incredibly long time, and I think one of the biggest factors. I think he's on the right path because I think one of the biggest factors is deciding that you want to be in a relationship and being, I'm not saying I didn't want to be in a relationship for the past, 7 years that I've been single, but fundamentally I didn't. I really kept people at arm's length and I didn't open myself up. And I think like earlier, a couple of months ago or 4, 5, 6 months ago, I kind of felt a shift where I was ready to be a little bit more open. I think that's kind of the biggest factor. You just approach you just approach encounters and dates in a very different way.
Ah, he's good at this, eh?
Yeah. Well, I think you solved it. Are you going to
Colleen
say?
said-
can go
Yeah,
fuck
we're going to see what Khalid
Colleen
said.
said, well, try and reframe this as an opportunity. You've reached a point where you need to take stock and reassess and figure out what's important to you in your life. You have been forced into a situation after losing a job, which is horrendous for anybody, especially if you've been somewhere a long time. But it does give you breathing space and a chance to create something better. I meet a lot of people who say they can't take a holiday or can't meet a partner because they're too busy at work. So now try to think outside of the job, and maybe it's better to look for something that pays less but gives you more personal time, which he's got. He's getting nothing, and he's got all the free time in the world.
Yeah.
She's being supportive.
Yeah.
She's very good at what she does, Colleen.
Do you think so?
She's very good.
Do you want to know what the comments?
Do people
comments.
now you're going to the comments?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, how long have we been going for?
We're nearly done.
This
Hours.
is you guys are drawing this out.
No, the comments are good.
The comment.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm not opposed to going to the comments.
Truthful Opinion, who comments every week on this.
But can I just say?
Yeah.
Can I just say, look, as someone that is kind of between here and Australia, although I am moving back here, which I'm very excited to announce. What an exclusive for you. Is this like a well-known column?
No.
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 Okay.
I mean, she's a well-known person.
Well,
She's on Loose Women every day. You killed to be on telly every morning.
I would.
Yeah.
You both would.
I
Literally
have.
kill.
Anyway, Truthful Opinion, who comments on this every single day,
Yeah. What does Truthful Opinion say?
has said, his feeling that midlife crisis to compete with others doesn't make sense. It could be much worse. A cheating, nagging wife, rebellious, unlawful children, extreme bills and debts to be paid immediately. See, life could be much worse for him, so count your blessings. And that's been edited.
I mean, he kind of makes a point. There is an
Why
aspect.
are you sure it's a he?
Sorry, because
I think it probably.
I assumed it was a he because he used to describe like the pejorative way of living that you have a nagging wife. I assumed that wasn't a woman.
Yeah.
To use the term nagging wife. But it's funny because the grass is always greener, and I was very much thinking about the fact that the people that I'd gone to school with, that like most of my, we're in our late 30s or whatever.
31.
Are you 31?
We're early to mid to late.
I was in my early 30s before the pandemic. What a crazy realization. Anyway, I see my friends married with kids, and I think it's beautiful, and they've got like a lot of stuff that I don't have. But they're definitely looking at my life with like incredible jealousy, like which is interesting. Like I think we're always desiring a bit of the other side. Like they're looking, I'm like, mate, they're like, what'd you do on the weekend? I'm like, I did a gig, and then I went, flew here and did a gig there, and then I went on a date, and they're just like, that sounds amazing.
That old adage is true, isn't it? The grass is always greener on the other side, and we'll see you on the other side next time here on Got a Problem, Mate, the podcast.
That was really good. That's not over. We can't just end like that. You can't just, as soon as he was waiting for you to stop talking.
To get that in.
Yeah.
Have you had a nice time?
I've had a lovely time. And, I think...
I take
problem solving. I take problem solving very seriously.
Yeah.
You're great at it.
I'm a very I'm a deep thinker for a clown.
Can I say something like really, really genuine to you, Josh? Yeah.
Yeah,
I think you're a fantastic performer.
Thank you.
And if you were around in the 80s, yeah, it's like you're a Tom Hanks, you're a John Candy kind of. What you're doing now would have translated into being in films. And I don't know how we make that happen in this current day and age.
You did
but
Tom Hanks comedy.
Oh my God! Let me finish what I'm saying to the
I'm
man.
sorry.
I think you could be like a huge like comedy actor. It's just like that transition isn't as well trodden anymore, and I hope that happens for you because that's what you deserve. Because you are a fantastic character comedian.
Joe, that's really lovely. As my late father would say, from your mouth to God's ears.
Let's hope he's enjoyed the podcast and gives it a 5-star rating. If you've enjoyed the podcast, you can like, rate, and subscribe. On Spotify, they've got a little button where you can just give it one little click and you can give us 5 stars. It's so easy to do and it really helps us out. So please do that.
How are you going? Are you getting? So this is episode 5, or is that right?
I don't know when this is going out, but it's in the next batch.
How's it?
We've done 6.
How's it going? What's the listenership?
We don't know yet. He's going to find out.
It's more of a listener boat.
Okay.
So
that was good. That was a good gag. I think that's up there with
really
your
good,
best. That was good, Joe.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. What a lovely
check
time.
out Josh Glanc's gigging in Australia, London, and Edinburgh this summer. Thanks for coming on, Josh.
Thank you, boys.
Got a problem, mate.
See you next time.
See you next time.
That's good.